Hi, I'm Joe from Voicemag. Me and some of the other people from Voicemag got together and we decided to make a video on body positivity and what it means to us. Starting out in the early 70s, evolving alongside other forms of activism in the 80s and 90s, before spreading to the internet encouraging people to like themselves, body positivity has been around longer than people think.
Hi, my name's Dulcie. I'm a trainee journalist at Voice magazine, and body positivity for me has been quite a strange thing. It's not always been something I felt very included by. Being gender fluid, I felt like a lot of it was sort of invalidating to me. Teenagers are arguably the group who need the most body positivity and shouldn't have to show their bodies, especially their naked bodies, to feel good about themselves. The idea of feeling sexy as the only way to like your body can also be very exclusionary for asexual people. Clothing can be very important for body positivity, as clothes can be used to show your identity and can also be more representative of your gender. Things like binders and packing can help people physicalize their gender identity and feel more positive about their bodies. It is estimated that autistic people are 2 to 3 times more likely to also be LGBTQ+. People with autism also reported a significantly higher number of gender dysphoric traits. Dealing with gender dysphoria can be especially hard when also dealing with sensory issues, sometimes making things like binding not an option. A lot of body positivity campaigns show people with very sexualized body language, but body language can be a very important part of feeling body positivity, such as adjusting how you sit, walk, and even the tone of your voice to express your gender. Being overweight has ended up with female connotations, which can be very gender dysphoric for a lot of people. This is reinforced by the skinny, tall, white, genderless image of androgyny. This requires a very specific body type and is shaped by the idea of being skinny enough to pass. There is a lot of naturalist and traditionalist talk surrounding body positivity, and this can feed into the bigotry around queer people, often making wanting to change your body out to be a bad thing, instead of what is often a very healthy decision, whether it's hormones, surgery or binding, all of which are valid ways to express your gender.
Hey, I'm Hamish Gray. I'm one of the trainee journalists for Voice magazine.
Hi everyone, Ash here, a trainee journalist for Voice. When I was approached about male body positivity, I didn't initially know what to input.
And I think that's because a lot of the body positivity movement isn't really geared towards guys.
However, I feel like it is something that needs to be highlighted.
I don't think that it doesn't have a benefit for guys. I think everyone, regardless of gender, benefits a lot from being positive about their body.
Also, I would like to touch on high street retailers and their choices in male fashion, as I feel like all of the clothes that you find in these kinds of places do look very similar. Always the same kinds of colours, same kind of styles, and I feel like it enforces this idea that males shouldn't be expressive in their clothing choices or their fashion.
I know when I was younger, I used to get really embarrassed about body hair because I started getting facial hair when I was quite young, and I was like, oh god, I'm a freak. And I used to obviously like shave it off, but I wouldn't tell anyone, and I would be completely against wearing shorts in any situation because I'd be like, oh god, I've got hairy legs, I can't go to PE, I need to wear joggies, and if I didn't have joggies I'd pretend and then get out of PE class. And I didn't talk to anyone about that, and I think that boils down to probably the main root of why body positivity isn't geared towards guys, and that's because guys don't talk about stuff like that.
Male body positivity is something that I feel definitely needs more conversation surrounding it.
It's hard to gear body positivity for guys if we don't know what insecurities guys have.
Eating disorders, or EDs as I'll be referring to them in this video, are intrinsically linked to the industry standard for bodies. The body positivity movement tries to expand these standards, but there are still unspoken rules and regulations for what you can be and be accepted. Finding acceptance in yourself is a vital step to understanding and overcoming any ED, and it's your first step on the road to recovery. Messages like love yourself and all your imperfections are preached but rarely followed when apps like TikTok and Instagram favour the trendy standard for bodies, which in my opinion pushes a generation chasing internet fame to get smaller at any cost and maintain it at any cost. Your first step on the road to recovery is admitting to yourself that you need help. In a world that promotes a very specific type of acceptance, Being healthy in body and mind means that you are accepted. EDs come in all shapes and sizes, but here are a few of the most commonly diagnosed ones. Anorexia. Anorexia is a serious mental illness where people are of low body weight due to limiting their intake of food and drink. They can develop rules around what they can and cannot eat. Binge eating disorder, or BED, is a serious mental illness where people eat very large quantities of food and feel out of control while doing so. Avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, more commonly known as AFRID, is a condition characterised by the personal avoidance of certain foods or types of food, having restricted intake in terms of overall amount eaten or both. Pica is a feeding disorder in which someone eats non-food substances which have no nutritional value, such as paper, soap, paint, chalk or ice. Bulimia. This is where people are stuck in a vicious cycle of eating large quantities of food and then trying to account for that by either excessive exercising, fasting, vomiting or taking laxatives to offset that binge eating. Orthorexia is an unhealthy obsession with eating pure or impure foods. You can often feel anxious or guilty when you've eaten impure foods, which often just means unhealthy in the opinion of the person. And finally, rumination disorder, which is an illness that involves repetitive, habitual bringing up of partly digested food. This doesn't necessarily have to be correlated with nausea or disgust. It can happen painlessly and regularly, and it can affect anyone of any age, gender, ethnicity or background.
Hi everyone, I'm Saskia, the assistant editor of Voicemag, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my experience with body positivity. So first of all, I am a big black woman and I am proud. So it's taken me a long time to accept myself for who I am and to love myself as well, because it's about love as much as it is about acceptance. And I would say the body positivity movement does have, something to do with that, because the representation of bodies of all sizes has definitely grown in the past couple of years. But my issue with body positivity is, for one, it's sad that we even need to have a movement like this, because it's not your body, it's not your business. Whether that's a bigger body or a trans body, it's got nothing to do with you. It kind of created this more pleasing kind of fat body and not ones that, actually take up space and are unapologetic. It's all very mild and toned down. I'm someone who has had issues with body dysmorphia, and for a long time I didn't even really realise for a long time, and it was really difficult for me to see myself clearly. And sometimes it still can be, but I definitely think I'm in a place where I'm learning to love myself. I do love myself and I understand myself a little bit more, and I refuse to shrink myself, whether that's physically or mentally, for any kind of situation. This is who I am, this is who I want to be, and that's an important part of it as well. It's not just about who you should be or who you need to be, it's who you want to be. I mean, I'm black as well, I'm a woman. These are all things that society doesn't really like, and I'm all three of them. But the thing is that all of those things are part of my power, and that's because I've chosen to make them so. There is still a long way to go, I would say, and I think for me, one of the things that made me accept myself a little bit more was getting to terms with the terminology and taking back control of the word fat. There was a time where if I was in a room and somebody mentioned the word fat, I'd be like, oh my god, they're talking about me, and I'd be so uncomfortable and I'd be so just on edge, just waiting for the person to direct the conversation towards my weight. And nowadays I work the word fat into like every sentence that I can. It's just retraining myself. It's such a ridiculous notion to me in the first place, because nobody can be fat. Nobody is all fat. Like, there's muscle, there's tissue, there's skin. It's like saying, oh, this person is so fat that that's all there is to them. And when I started to kind of like dissect that and really think about ridiculousness of that statement, it took some of the sting out of it. We all deserve better than the ridicule of trolls on social media, or, defining ourselves by sizes in a shop. Like, we all deserve more than that.
Body positivity is an ongoing thing. It is something you have to work to achieve and continue to strive for to feel comfortable in your own skin. That doesn't always mean not changing yourself. It means changing yourself in a way that expresses who you are, not what media and society want you to be. Body positivity isn't about telling you how to look. It's about the journey you go on to love yourself.